Good morning, and welcome to another Wake Up Wednesday live here with me, Asia Nasir, founder and Chief Empowerment Officer of Jessica Cares. Before we get into it, I do have to go to our Facebook family. For some reason, Facebook always puts me on private when we do our Wake Up Wednesdays. So I want to make sure that our family here on Facebook is allowed to be able to see our content today. So let me just change the settings for our show, and then we can go ahead and get right into it. So just bear with me one moment while I do that. And of course, they're not letting me do it on my personal feed anymore. They used to be able to let me change my settings, and now they're not allowing me to change my settings, which I don't know why. So we're gonna have to just get right into it. I thought I was gonna be able to just change the settings on my video, and of course it's not letting me do that. So I apologize for the Facebook family. So for anyone who's following on my personal page, Asia Nasir, please go over to Jessica Cares. Jessica Cares. So again, please go over to our Jessica Cares page on Facebook if you're on Facebook, and you'll be able to follow along and tune in. So make sure you follow us, and then you'll be able to listen in on our live today. So again, for those of you that are just tuning in, my name is Asia Nasir, and I am the founder and executive director, chief empowerment officer of Jessica Cares. And today's topic is going to be a little bit different. We're doing it a little bit different today. Most of our topics here on Wake Up Wednesdays are very geared towards our mission at Jessica Cares, and that's empowering teen girls and women. And while this topic is going to allow that to happen and stay within our mission, this particular discussion this morning is not, as I mentioned, different. It's bold, it's difficult, but it's also a necessary conversation. And so for our viewers today, the topic that we're talking about is a topic that is often dismissed, swept under the rug, almost, pegged as a taboo topic. And it's one of great importance that, as I mentioned before, aligns with the empowerment of our teen girls and women. And that is the unspoken battles, breaking the silence on men's mental health. Men's mental health. So before we even get into what we're going to talk about today, for the men that are tuning in to our live today, I want to just speak to you personally and let you know that, we chose this. The month of June is men's mental health awareness. But with that in mind, and the fact that we're about to get into a very deep, engaging, and hopefully results-driven conversation, I want to say that, we as a community, we as the women in the community honor you, honor your strength, honor your resilience, honor the fact that you still show up in spite of not always feeling your best. And I want you to know that this discussion is just a segue or just a snippet of the support and the encouragement that we want to be for you in this space. And for the women that are joining in for us today, I want you to know that you matter in this discussion, because a lot of men's mental health and them being able to be whole and show up in that space is going to have a lot to do with us. And so this discussion is going to be two-part in what we're doing, and that's for the women and the men. So before we even get started, I want you, if you are tuning in and you're like, oh my God, this is, I wasn't expecting this. This is a topic that I think so-and-so should hear. Or, I have a brother, I have an uncle, or I have anybody in my family who I feel could benefit from this discussion. Please tag them right now. Tag them right now. This could be the discussion that they need, just to know that they're supported. Just to know that they're supported and that they're cared for, and that we do understand that at sometimes they don't feel their best. And so we're wanting to have a discussion about that, and they may just need to hear that. And for a woman who's struggling with someone, in their life, whether it be their son, their father, or their husband, that's struggling, please tag them. Please share this video with them, so that way we can, grow as a community and grow together. So before we get into that, I want to ask, and this is not something that you have to share on here, but it would be great if you did, because this allows us, as I mentioned before, as a community of women and as a community as a whole, to be able to serve you better and show up for you men better. I'm going to ask a very engaging question that I hope you're going to answer in the comment section. So whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on LinkedIn, or whether you're on you know, YouTube, wherever you're on YouTube, I want you to leave a comment in here if you choose to, but if you'd rather not and just have it be more of a self-reflective question, that's okay. So the first question that I want to ask is to the brothers. These are for the men specifically. So women, stand down. I got a question for you, but this one is specifically for our brothers, and it's two questions actually. So you can answer either one if you like. So the question that I have is, what's one thing you wish people better understood about what you carry mentally and emotionally? What is one thing that you wish people understood a little bit better about what you carry as a man, emotionally and mentally? Or you can answer this question: how has not speaking about your mental health impacted you currently or in the past? So if you want to share that in the comment section, I would love to see that, because it gives us an awareness of, or a beginning start of, where we may have missed the mark, right? So that question again is, what's one thing you wish people understood better about what you carry as a man, mentally and emotionally? Second question is, how has not speaking about it impacted you, either presently or in the past? Okay, so that's for the men in particular, and it will come up on here, and I'll be able to show it if you like. And if not, if this is just an internal question, that's okay. Now, this one is for the women. This one is specifically for the women, where I'm asking you, ladies, what do you think are the most common pressures that men feel in their life, or what they feel they face today? So I'm asking this specifically to the women. What do you think are the most common pressures that men feel that they're facing today in their life? So I want you to put that in the comments if you like. It'd be great. I love to see the comments. Or the second question, actually the second question, I'm going to hold that off to the end of this live. Okay. So that's the questions that I have. So if anybody wants to share it in the chat, please feel free to do so. I definitely want to make sure that we're hitting that mark. So as I always do with our Wake Up Wednesdays, we share. Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Becky. Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, financial responsibility. That is the huge pressure that men feel that they have to face every day, as providers and as protectors of their family. They're constantly feeling, especially with the change that's happening with our economy and just everything happening around the world. Yeah, I'm sure financial responsibility is definitely something that they feel a lot of pressure on them. Absolutely. Good one. Good one. If you think of any more, please feel free to share. And as you know, it always takes one to start the ball rolling. So if you want to include brothers, again, what's one thing that you feel you're facing right now, mentally and emotionally, something that you're carrying that has impacted you, and how has not speaking about it, how has that affected you, either in the past or currently? So please share that in the comment section. So as I always do with our Wake Up Wednesdays, I always talk about different strategies in which to be able to overcome this particular topic that we're talking about, which is unspoken battles, and that's breaking the silence on men's mental health. So I have 5 strategies that I'm going to be sharing, not only for the men, but also for the women. But because this particular, session or discussion is for the men, I'm going to start with the men. I know with men are not talkers. They're very different. So we're going to go right into strategy number 1. Men are not talkers. Men are doers. Men are problem solvers. That's what they, do. And they push aside anything that has to do with emotion because I got to do. Just as Becky said, I have a lot to carry on me, whether it's financial or anything else. So I don't have time to, go into thoughts and, thinking about things or talking about things, right? So the first thing in overcoming mental health when it comes to men is acknowledging. A lot of our men just want to go and just like, it's life, it's what it is. I gotta do what I gotta do, and they just sweep it under the rug, right? They sweep it under the rug. It's not a problem. I'm a man. I got this, right? This is all the things that you tell yourself to be able to push forward. The first thing you have to do is you have to acknowledge that if you're struggling, if you're going through a rough patch, or if you're having feelings that you typically haven't felt before, and it's a little heavy on you, that's not a weakness. That is not a weakness. It is actually just being human. It is being a human being. We as humans, we are complex beings. Sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're sad, sometimes we respond to things that we never responded to before because it's a new thing. So if you are feeling this, and I'm speaking again directly to the men, if you are feeling like you're struggling right now, if you feel you're not showing up as your best self, if you feel like you're going through, and this literally happens to men, especially as they get older, they go through, women, we go through menopause, but men go through, they call it a midlife crisis. But even in young men, this is an actual thing that men go through. And I want you to understand that first, you have to acknowledge, first and foremost, that it is not a weakness. It is definitely just you being a human being. And you have to give yourself permission, and you have to give yourself grace to feel. You have to give yourself grace to feel. And the first step to healing is naming what hurts you. You have to say what's hurting you, whatever that is, whether it's the job, whether it's the pressure that you're feeling, whether it's the change and seeing what's happening with the economy and feeling the uncertainty of it. If it's your marriage, if it's your children, whatever it is, that's what needs to be discussed. And so we have a comment here. It says, "Oh, walaikum salam." They might not share how they are feeling about their health right away. Exactly. This is exactly part of the problem. And the men, they've been taught, that men don't feel, men just show up, men are strong, and you got to stay strong. And so they feel that acknowledging anything that doesn't allow them to show up, it makes them feel like they're weak. And what we're here to discuss is that it's human. It is human to actually feel. And the first step to healing is naming what hurts you, right? What you don't name, you can't tame. And what I have learned when it comes to mental health with myself or with anyone, when you don't acknowledge that you have something that is hurting you, what ends up happening is that it manifests itself in the most negative ways, in the most unproductive ways, in the most toxic ways and dysfunctional ways. So if you don't acknowledge it, it is going to come out eventually. Our bodies are geared towards dealing with things one way or another. Our body is going to speak to us. And sometimes that comes out in ways that are not the best, right? So that is the one thing that I wanted to share. And the second thing is for the women. This is here where I'm speaking to women. And I wrote notes because this time I did not want to forget. I did not want to forget anything. So if we are encouraging our men in our life to be able to speak and acknowledge what they're feeling, right? As for the women, I'm speaking to the women now. Strategy number one for you is to create a judgment-free zone for your spouse, your father, your son, your uncle, your brother, whoever this man is in your life. You have to create a judgment-free zone for them to be able to have that conversation, for them to be able to say, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm struggling with. This is what I'm not feeling my best at, whatever that is. And not making them fear the feeling of looking weak or appearing weak in your eyes, because that's one of the reasons why men don't even acknowledge, much less speak about it. So we have to create an environment for them to be able to feel safe in order to be able to acknowledge those feelings. And so one of the things, if you're not sure of what to say in that moment, one of the things that you can say is, you can tell me anything. You can tell me anything, and I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to judge you. I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. and we're going to get through this together. It may be new to both of us. You know, this may be a space where you've never seen this particular man in your life go through something. And so you have to be able to, you know, be that safe space, or try to be as much as you can, you know, and let them know that their mental peace matters more than the appearances. You know, your mental peace matters more to me than appearances. Because again, as I mentioned before, men feel like if they show up in a certain way, they're going to be seen as weak. So that's strategy number one. So men, acknowledge that you're going through something, acknowledge that you're feeling something, acknowledge that you don't feel your best. And if you share that with the women in your life, women, give them that safe space to understand that they are not going to be judged. They're going to be supported. And that's what you're there for. And if you don't understand it, we're going to get through this together, and that their mental peace matters more than the appearances. Okay, so that's strategy number one. Strategy number two is start with one safe person. And it may not be the women in your family. It may not be a woman in your family. It may not be your mom. It may not be your wife. It may not be your sister, right? But you have to find, I'm speaking again to the men, you have to find a safe person. You have to find a safe person. You don't have to tell the world. And that's something that we see a lot of people doing. They're sharing their most innermost vulnerable feelings on social media, where we don't know who's on the other end of that computer and what their mental space is like. This is not the platform for that. However, there is a platform that you got to speak to somebody. So that could be a trusted friend. If you have a best friend, you have somebody that you've grown up with your whole life, that you've shared and experienced a lot with, go to that person and talk to them. If that person is you're feeling is maybe too close for comfort, I know, men, this is difficult. I know this is probably something you've never seen before, but you got to speak to a therapist. You got to go to a therapist, talk to someone who's trained to be able to understand what you're going through, create that safe space that we were just talking about, because it is a free judgment zone. They've heard it all. Therapists have heard it all. So when you go and speak to them, you're not sharing something with them that they've never heard before, or have never assisted someone in before. This is something that they're actually trained in being able to help you navigate these feelings. If you want a life coach, you know, sometimes price might be, you know, something where maybe a therapist, you can't find one, maybe you don't have insurance, but maybe a life coach is something. Again, I'm a life coach. I've been trained on how to be able to sit with people, how to listen, how to actively listen and engage them to be able to bring out the best in them, right? So even a life coach is something that you can explore, or even a support group. There's a lot of support groups out there, and I'm going to be sharing resources on those support groups. So even a support group, someone that you know is going to listen to you without judgment. That's the first thing. You got to speak to somebody. You can't hold it in. Otherwise, it's going to manifest itself, and it's going to manifest itself in the wrong way. And remember, this, if you don't take anything else away, brothers, real strength comes from connection, not isolation. Real strength comes from connection. So if that's connecting with a friend, connecting with a therapist, connecting with the women folk in your life, you know, whoever it is, or even a person of in your place of worship, whoever that person is, its strength comes from connection, not isolation. Okay, so that's strategy number two. Strategy number three that I want you to take away from this discussion is sometimes you got to develop, even if you're going to therapy, even if you're talking to someone, you have to create safe spaces for yourself in order to balance your emotions and your mental health. So sometimes you got to hit that reset button. You got to hit a reset button, and that might be daily. Doesn't have to be weekly. It could be a daily thing. It could be, you know, something where you're, and I know a lot of men do this. They go to the gym. Some men go to the gym after work. They got to work out for an hour. And they're like, that's my reset button. You know, while I'm working out, I'm thinking, I'm able to, you know, process my thoughts and everything like that. That might work for you. Deep breathing. I know that was a game changer for me. I never realized that how deep breathing and just sitting and being still and just breathing, how that resets your mind and calms your mind, and it allows you to be able to focus. It allows you to be able to clear your thoughts where it's not all over the place. And this is especially for men. If you're struggling with ADHD, this is a great way for you to be able to slow down and be able to process. Because when you have 5,000 thoughts going through you, it can bring a lot of things that's not really healthy for you, and your responses or reactions to things are not going to be healthy. So deep breathing, even if it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, deep breathing is really, really important to kind of hit that reset button. Some people take a 10-minute walk. For me, sitting in my car does a lot of good. And I know a lot of men do that before you walk into the house. Sometimes before you transition from one thing, which is the worker, the provider, and then now you have to walk into a different space as possibly the parent or caregiver or whatever your situation is. Sometimes just sitting in your car for 10 minutes silently, not listening to music, just being able to hear your own voice, to hear where you're at, and to tell yourself it's going to be okay. In that moment, you can do deep breathing and just reset yourself. Take a moment to just be still. This society that we live in is everything is on the go. We got to be doing something. No, you don't. You can just be still. And that sometimes is just the thing that you need in order to be able to calm yourself, to clear your thoughts, to be focused, to balance your thoughts, to have better perspective about things, because there's no distraction. Social media, all these other things that are TV, radio, those are distractions for you to be able to actually tune into yourself and become self-aware. Am I angry today? Am I feeling on edge? Let me calm down before I walk into my house and bring that energy, right? So 10 minutes just sitting in your car in silence. And this is universal. I don't care what religion you subscribe to, but prayer. Just being able to pray, ask for guidance, ask for discernment in your actions, ask for peace and tranquility within, is going to be able to assist you in being able to do those things. God wants us, our Creator wants good for us. He wants us to be our best selves. He wants us to show up in spaces that He's blessed us with, the best versions of ourselves. So if we're not feeling our best, praying to our Creator is going to be so crucial to you being able to navigate all the other aspects of your life. And this should not be an option. This strategy is not an option. This is actually a requirement for your mental maintenance. It really is a requirement for your mental maintenance. So I really want you to take these strategies serious. Strategy number 4 is, and this, I left the last two because they're the most important. So you know how they say you leave the best for last? So the last two are extremely important. And I'm speaking directly to our brothers and sisters. If you're hearing this and you're feeling what I'm saying and you're learning something new about how you can help do that, please leave it in the comments. Let us know that you're tuning in and supporting them. So strategy number 4 is redefine what you consider strong. Because I think a lot of our men feel like not crying is being strong. Not showing emotion is being strong. Not being transparent is being strong. Not being vulnerable is being strong. And it could not be the furthest thing from the truth. When we look at the strongest men that we've seen, there was levels of transparency. There was levels of vulnerability. There was levels of, I'm not my best today, right? And it's not about carrying everything on your own. A lot of you men feel like you got to carry everything. You got to carry the weight of your spouse, your children, your parents, your job. If you're an entrepreneur, your business, you feel like you got to carry all this on your own. And that's not true. Knowing when to ask for help is important, and knowing who to ask for help, because you got to be selective of who you ask. You can't just ask anybody, because not everybody wants what's best for you. So you look for that trusted friend, someone who has showed themselves time and time again to be a trustworthy person, a person who displays discretion, someone that you don't hear gossiping about other people or talking about other people, right? Those are the people that if you need help, that's the go-to person, right? One of the things that my faith teaches us is that you choose your companions wisely, because that's going to reflect a lot of what your life is going to be, whether it's going to be positive or whether it's going to be negative, has a lot to do with who you associate with. So surround yourself, men, who model healthy masculinity, healthy masculinity, men who can cry when they need to, men who are not afraid to be able to show emotion, men who can articulate their feelings and be able to share. Today's not a good day. And I know some brothers, some in my family, and some who I've seen here that I've gotten to meet along the way. Some of you may know them, you know, the Clay couple, Hassan Clay. That's a brother who went blind. He went blind, and that brother comes on here and he does not have a problem showing his emotion when it comes to that journey of once having sight and losing it, and how he's navigated being a husband and being a father and being an entrepreneur with this new thing of no longer having sight. So surround yourself with men who model healthy masculinity. Some of you didn't see that maybe growing up. And some of you have met men along the way. Talk to them, engage them, ask them, have them pour into you, have them be that way shower for you to be able to learn new ways in which you're able to then now redefine what strong means in men. So that's strategy number 4. And strategy number 5 is just like you do with everything else. When men get to a certain age, they have to go annually to get their prostate, checked out. You go for your annual checkup or whatever. I wouldn't say that you need to do this on an annual basis. I would actually recommend doing it on a quarterly basis. But if you're struggling more, this may be something you have to do more often. And this is being intentional with scheduling, not letting you have a nervous breakdown and then you find out, oh, I need to go and talk to someone, or I need to schedule a mental health checkup. This should be something that you're doing either on a monthly basis, weekly basis for some, and if you need to do it quarterly, that's fine. But you need to make sure that you are being intentional about scheduling a mental health checkup. And that's, like I said, with a therapist, with a support group, with a person of leadership in your place of worship, someone that you model, positive or healthy masculinity. Have a mental health checkup, right? If it's with the women in your family, you go together to make sure that you're okay. Seek that therapy, seek that coaching, and not on an emergency. I'm on an ICU, space right now. But this is something to avoid that. It's like what they say with your health. If you go on a regular basis for your regular checkups, that's maintenance. That is preventative care. That is preventative care. You're doing things to prevent something heavy happening. So it's the same thing for your mental health. You have to do something intentionally on a regular basis as maintenance to avoid a nervous breakdown, to avoid you doing something outside of your character that you're going to regret possibly for the rest of your life, right? Or just struggling your whole life, not feeling your best self. So that was for the men. I want to share briefly actually, you know what I want to do right now is I want to acknowledge the men right now. So if there's a woman or if there's a man on here that want to acknowledge, this is one of the things that I want you to do as a takeaway. But we're actually going to practice it right now. One of the things that you can do for the men, and this is for the women, this is what you can do for the men, either on a monthly basis, quarterly basis. And this is not just for your husband. This is for every man in your family. Maybe you can even make this a tradition, something new for your family, where you gather the men, the fathers, the brothers, the uncles, the sons, the husbands, and you have a day where you make something nice, you cook for them, and the women, all the rest of the family, surround the men, have one man at a time stand in the middle, and everybody in that circle just say something that they acknowledge about that man that's positive. I see you as, right? Whatever that is. I appreciate whatever that is. You feel you do the rest. You say the rest. I see you as, I appreciate you because I have learned so much from you because, and acknowledge that man, give that man his flowers now. Give that man his flowers now. So I want to actually encourage us to do that. We only have, I mean, a half hour already has gone by. For the women that are on here, for a man who wants to acknowledge a brother that he acknowledges, in the comment section, put in, tag that person and say what you see them as, what you appreciate them as, and let's just flood this, live, this discussion, with the support and the acknowledgement that our men so often don't get. And a lot of times that's all they need to keep going, is to just know that they're appreciated and that they are seen for the things that they're doing. So if you know someone, I shouted out today. I tagged, Hassan Clay, and I gave him his flowers and showed what a beautiful example he gives of healthy masculinity. I started it off. Please, for you, if it's your father, your brother, your son, whoever, your husband, give them their flowers now, and just tag them, or just, even if they're not on Facebook, LinkedIn, or anything else, show them that you care, and leave a comment in there about how much you appreciate them and what you see, and what they do for you and your family. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that. And I'm going to share some books here as some references, some resources. There's some books out there, and I'm going to put them in the comment section. One book is called Cry Like a Man, from Jason Wilson. That's an excellent book for you to be able to share. Oh, we got someone here, Khadijah. She says, I like that idea for my son. I see you. Oh, this is beautiful. I see you, and I'm proud of the inner work you are doing to improve your life. Imagine how your son feels knowing, if he heard that you're actually proud of him, and that you actually see the work that he's doing. It's not in vain. It's not unnoticed, that you are seeing it, and that you're proud of the fact that he's pouring in and investing in himself to improve his life. That is beautiful, Khadijah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And again, this is not a one-off. This should be something that you're doing on a regular basis for the men in your life, to let them know this is part of you being able to support the men in your family, to be able to have healthy mental health, and for them to feel that you're a safe space that they can go to if they have no one else to speak to, that they can come to you and share when they're not their best selves. And then you come up with ideas together, you support them, maybe even look up resources for them to be able to help. So again, as I mentioned, Cry Like a Man, from Jason Wilson. The Mask of Masculinity. Ooh, that book is powerful, from Lewis Hose. And for women, if you're looking to support your men more, there is a book out here called I Don't Want to Talk About It: Overcoming the Secret Legacy of Male Depression, from Terrence Real. So as you can see, these books were written by men. These books were written by men. So these are men who have dealt with it, felt it, and they're sharing their experiences of what works best for men. And if there's some therapy, if you don't have someone, brothers, that you can go to, here are a couple of organizations that are specific to working with men, and their mission is to help you ensure that your mental health is in the right place. So we have mantherapy.org, and you have therapyforblackmen.org. So it's specific for Black men. And then last but not least, we have muslimpeerservices.org. These are organizations that their whole mission is to ensure that your mental health is in the right place. So don't feel like, oh, I'm driving, I can't write it. I'm going to put it in the comment section, so that when you listen to the replay, or you want to go back to the replay, you can actually see these resources and these books. Give me about a half hour, because I'm getting ready to head over to Instagram on Jessica Cares One, to be able to share it with our Instagram family. So I pray that you benefited from this particular topic, this deep discussion that we had today. This was just a snippet, and I'm making a commitment as the women of our community to be able to hold more spaces for our men to have these discussions, because not only is it empowering for men, but it is also empowering for us as women. And oh, Becky, last but not least, to my dad, I see you. I know it must be hard to get older and being responsible for caring for your wife. Through thickness and through health, I admire you so much. This is just beautiful. beautiful. So if you know someone, oh, this is just it's touching me. I don't know these men, but just to hear the words that you're saying about them, if I don't know them and I can feel it, imagine what they would feel like if you actually shared this with them. So make sure, be intentional to give them their flowers today and share what you shared to the world. Share it with them where it matters the most. So thank you so much for engaging women. Thank you so much for sharing with our men that we do care. We got some more coming in. Oh, it's flooding. I don't take my husband for granted. We have been married for 47 years. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Every day is a learning experience, but tell each other how we appreciate each other. Absolutely. Absolutely, Huda. You are so right. You are so right. 47 years. Don't take each other for granted. Days are not going to always be good for your husband. Make sure that they have a safe space, the same way we feel like we may have a safe space with them. Make sure they know they have a safe space with you, with no judgment, and that you're here to support them and that their mental health matters. Stay tuned for more. We're going to be doing this. We have another platform called Conversations with Asia. We're actually going to bring some men to actually have this discussion and further this and learn how we can actually do this. If you want to be a part of this, think of something that you can do. We talked about what you can do at home, but maybe make this a community thing that you do for the community, that you're sharing spaces for men to be able to be seen, heard, supported, and encouraged. So stay tuned for another Wake Up Wednesday in a couple of weeks for another great topic for us to share, discuss, grow, empower, all of those good things. And so I thank you for your engagement. I thank you for sharing. Thank you for tuning in. If you liked it, make sure you like the video and make sure that you're sharing this with someone that you care about. And I'll see you soon, God willing.